Your time on Saturday afternoon to come join our conversation. Let me introduce myself. My name is Uyên Ly. My background is journalism, and I'm always curious about cool, inspiring people and new ideas, and that's why I'm here. And I will be the one who asks questions. I will ask this very cool photographer, VR filmmaker questions, mainly about his journey, how he turned his career from a 2D traditional photographer to a VR filmmaker. To me, that's a very exciting journey. And the reason why we organize this talk, because we hope to share the Morgan Ommer's journey to young audience. But now I see you all today, it's not just young audience, I see a variety of faces. And before we start our story here, I'd love to know who you are, where do you come from, and why are you interested in this talk? Is that okay? Thank you. So I will start with the first row with our two audience here. May you introduce yourself and why you are here.
Hello everyone, my name is Helmet, non-Bauhim. I'm from RMIT, so this is the connection. I got an invite and I'm very curious of what is happening. I'm a teacher, yes, exactly. Digital media, in the program Digital Media School of Communication and Design.
Thank you. Hello. So my name is Ricardo. I am the program manager for digital media program in RMIT. And like the moment Morgan told me about the talk, I was like, yeah, I want to be there. I want to hear that. Because not only Morgan, the sharing with Morgan has been important for what we do in the program, but also like it's good to see these practices, these experiences, and how it works. Thank you.
Hi guys, I'm Vân. I'm working as I'm doing graphic design for advertising agency currently, and I'm just come across this event like yesterday online. I think it's just cool, and then I'm here. Yeah.
Good afternoon, Morgan and Jilly. My name is Khán. I'm an system designer, engineer, and educator in Internet of Things, IoT, for art installations. I'm having a project inside, so I'm just walk by to check ups. And happy to be here to listen to the talk. Thank you.
Hello everyone. My name is Thảo Trinh. You can call me with my straight name Hanny, and I'm third year university student at Western Sydney University, Vietnam. And I'm the one who loves art, photography, and also architecture. And I'm coming here, and I'm happy to listen to your sharing your opinions and also how you live in your career path. About photography, we are making also photographer, filmmaker too. Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Vân. I work in sustainability and ESG, which has nothing to do with today, and I'm interested in this man, who is my boyfriend.
Oh, that's it. Hello everyone, I'm Dion. I'm interning at an NGO, so also not related, but I really like film and photography, and Morgan invited me, so yeah, I'm just interested to hear what it's about. No?
This is Morgan's mother. She's just here to make sure he shouldn't talk bad about her, and also explains his work, and it's really interesting, I'm sure.
Hello everyone, my name is Mai Quỳnh Như. I am a student of filmmaking in State and Movie University. I speak to Mr. Morgan, and I very like him as a person and as a director. I had a chance to watch his film, The Madame Barrett, and I very love it. Thank you for listening.
Hello everyone, my name is Kelly. I'm a fan and a fan of Anne Morgan. So I'm here today because I love photography and also film, especially documentary. So I would love to learn how, this topic talking about especially applied technology in this.
Hi, I'm Homi, and I've just graduated from RMIT studying design studies. So currently I'm a freelance illustrator, and I'm really interested in films and photography. So I think it would be a great talk show for me to learn more and spreading my knowledge. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. So Morgan, you have some fan here, and also a big support from your mom and from your special lady. It's great. I think I'm not going to tell you who is Morgan, because he's going to share with you his journey right now. But first, let me introduce the structure of this conversation. So after Morgan's presentation about his journey, his work, I will occasionally jump in with my questions, mainly because I don't know much about this new technology, VR, and all the cool, term and words that he's gonna use. I want to ask him more about that for myself as well. But I very much welcome all of you to ask questions. All questions are very much welcome. All the naive questions, all the questions that you think, oh, you'll be shy to ask, please ask as many questions that you want to. This is an open conversation. And then in the end, we also have another Q&A question for you as well to ask Morgan. So that's mainly the structure, okay? So don't be shy. Just when you want to know more, when you don't understand anything, just raise your hand. That's it. Yes, so and Morgan, now is your presentation. Thank you so much. Yep.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for being here. We're doing this manually, so bear with us. My name is Morgan Ommer. I am half German, half Vietnamese. My mother over there is Vietnamese. She looks Japanese, but she's actually Vietnamese. I was born and grew up in Paris. And then I lived for 15 years in Hong Kong. I've been living here in Ho Chi Minh City for the past 12, 13. So I basically spent two-thirds of my life in Asia. Originally I'm a photographer. I started with photography in Hong Kong in 1999, and since around 2015 I have started exploring more with film. In 2021, beyond film, I made a VR experience, and so now I've made two, one in 2021 and one this year. So let's start from the beginning. So in the beginning, I started with photography. I have worked for a lot of magazines. This is probably why. Sorry. So yeah, in the beginning I've worked with magazines, but magazines are now dying out. There's not many left, and so this is probably why I started switching in recent years. I still do photos, but much less than before, and by switching to first film and now VR, I'm trying to explore new ways of telling stories, which is what I was doing originally.
Is there any reason that photography is not so popular anymore and you start switching
So I think it's both. I've been a photographer for a long time, looking at different ways of telling stories with images is interesting, but also I need to pay rent, so so switching to film was one of the solutions. But so to answer your question, I think both. In I've worked for a lot of magazines and big and small brands as a photographer. The main focus the main things that I photographed are fashion, portraits, events, and travel. Sorry. Yes, so international brands, big and small. I've worked for, I don't know, Dior and Gucci and Chopard. I've worked for Harper's Bazaar and Vogue. Also travel and leisure. In the previous slide, the picture is a travel picture, but it's also fashion. It's shot in Hanoi at the Metropole Hotel. So fashion. Can we switch? Next slide. Events. I photographed some famous pop stars. This is a local fashion show here in Saigon. I think it was organized by Elle. And this is a Vietnamese singer. You might recognize her. Next one. Portraits. You might recognize these two.
Do you recognize the face of the actresses on the screen? Anybody can tell us their name? They're super famous. Can you tell us who they are? Who are they?
The Taiwanese girl is Shu Chi.
In Vietnamese, it's Thư Kỳ. Have you heard of? Yeah, I saw people. Oh yes, Thư Kỳ.
And the blonde girl is.
She's the one who, the main actress in Gone Girl, that famous movie. Yeah.
I photographed her at an event.
Rosalind
Pike.
Rosalind Page.
Rosalind Pike.
Yeah.
So we looked it up earlier, but. Okay. Next slide. And then I've also done a lot of travel images. I came for the first time to Vietnam as an adult in 1993, I think. This is a picture of probably 95 or 96 in Hanoi. This is a family vehicle, Honda, and it's the winter. So, so these are the kinds of pictures that I've been taking. Can we do the next slide?
Next.
The way I have taken pictures is I kind of like to try and tell a story for the pictures, and they say that a picture is 1,000 words. So I try and apply to my practice some principles.
So let me do a little bit of advertisement here for Morgan. Morgan is going to describe to you how the transition in his storytelling visually you will see the transition from 2D photography you're still seeing, and then into 360. But he's using his own cool words that he's going to tell you right now.
Okay. One of the things that I'm always interested in photography is what is happening outside the frame. You take a photograph in which you show some things, but the viewer, I'm trying to get the viewer to imagine what is outside the photograph, which helps me actually tell a story of what is happening inside. I also use optical tricks. I'll show you in a minute. So I just talked about outside the frame, but they, I try also and focus about a story inside the frame. So I don't know if you can see this clearly, but this is a photograph shot in Paris of two lovers under a statue. So the story within, it's actually the same thing. The statue, I'm not sure they're aware of the scene. When you are looking at them, you can see that. But there's stone in real life in a park. That's the story inside. I want you to look at the picture and try and imagine or think what conversation they're having. They could be fighting or not, but that's actually up to you to decide. And then lastly, breaking the fourth wall. Do you guys know what breaking the fourth wall is?
Some say yes, but most maybe don't know. Yeah.
All right, I'll show you after. Can we? No. So this is a picture I took in Dalat about, I think, 20 years ago. It's a very famous coffee shop that looks like it's straight from the 1960s. This picture was published actually quite a lot in different magazines. And in this picture, they're all looking in the same direction. And the way I imagine this is I'm letting the viewer imagine what they're looking at. This is the outside the frame principle that I mentioned earlier. Also, it has nice light.
Nice light. I also like the reflection of the people inside on that window. But you can also look a little bit outside as well, like many happenings, many things.
There's different layers. Next slide. So this again, I want you to try and imagine what she's looking at and what the conversation is. So outside the frame and what she's hearing at the same time. Next one, please. Actually, this is a sequence. Can we?
You run 4 of them.
No, go back. Can you do the sequence again?
Yeah. One more. Yeah.
So, they're looking outside the frame, right? Next one. And then you see what they're looking at. Then they're looking outside the frame on the other side. And then they have a talk. So this sequence, actually, to answer your question earlier, I take still photos and I have trained my eye to, capture one scene. But I'm also, because I'm interested in the storytelling, I use 4 pictures to tell this story.
Yes. So you can see that the image start moving one by one. Yeah.
Okay. Next one. So this is breaking the fourth wall. Breaking the fourth wall is a principle in theater. When you watch a play, usually, very often, theater plays are in someone's living room, and you, the audience, are sitting, are able to look inside that room. So the actors have three walls, which, I don't know, the entrance, the window, and they are within three walls, and you can actually look through an imaginary fourth wall. Sometimes in theater, in movies, it's quite common, the actors turn to the audience and involve them directly. This is what is called breaking the fourth wall. So in a picture, when the character or the model looks straight at the viewer, basically looks straight at you, it also draws you into the scene, because you get involved in the scene. So this is what I've done here. This is also an optical trick. There's not 4 women in that picture, there's only one. I've taken the same model and shot her in 4 different outfits and then blended the pictures, which you may not notice immediately, but if you look, there's something weird because it's the same person. It's not for women, just one. And then there's the story within. Why is this woman or these 4 women sitting there? What are they doing? What are they talking about? Okay, good. Come back. So, from there, and to talk about the transition, I started to be interested in movement. One of the techniques that I found is called a cinematograph, where I blend still picture with a moving video. It is kind of hypnotizing because we all know what a picture is, what a photo is. We all know what a video is, but if you blend them together, your brain cannot decide what you're looking at. Is it a film or is it a photo? And I'll show you what it looks like now. Yeah. So the first time a cinematograph was used, as far as I know, is in a David Bowie clip from 1980. You guys might know. It's called Ashes to Ashes. And there's two sequences in that music video from David Bowie where it's a still picture and there's a TV screen in that still picture. And that TV screen is live. It's video. Oh. So it's a neat trick, and it's kind of hypnotizing. But then I thought, the one that I just showed you, I just put music, and it's, people exercising or dancing in parks in Hanoi. But then I thought I could maybe try and tell more sophisticated story. So the next one that I'm going to show you, I mixed the optical trick. There's only one girl in that cinematograph that I'm about to show you. And there is breaking the fourth wall and things happening outside the frame. So in this one I of course use sound, which you don't use in photography, to convey. The sound is not real. The sound is added later because there's tricks making it. So, but it seems real, right? It's an illusion, which then this allowed me to transition from still photography to films, short films, video, movies. From 2016, 17, my photography business was starting to fade because disappearance of magazines, expansion of social media, corporates would use more stock. So I started then making videos using the same principles that I was talking about. Outside the frame, story within, optical tricks, breaking the fourth wall. And so here, the next one is a video that I made at a friend's house in Tamdao. The client wanted an architecture film, which means they wanted me to show and describe why he used such materials, what is the angle of the staircase. And so I went, okay, and I did not do that. I actually sat with my friends and we told a story about this house, which to me is more interesting. The client at first was not very happy, but then it kind of went viral, so they didn't complain too much. I'll show it to you now.
I don't have a family like the man who built this place. I'm here alone. Just the clouds, the winds, and the dog. The man comes up from the city below. He loved that city before. But now he prefers being here. He sits, looks out his window. Sometimes he reads in his hammock. He doesn't take care of me all that much. Stuff crawls through the windows. The moss and the ferns just grow. I leave the man alone. Sometimes strangers come. They'll ask him about when he was young, all the fighting, the years his father was in prison, the years his mother struggled to raise him, and his time in places around the world. But I think he just wants the solitude here. The rocks remind him of North Africa, the bamboo and the dripping water of Japan. It's been over 10 years since he found this spot and I was built. I don't know how long I'll be here. I think the man would like to be here forever. I'd like to be here forever. But we can't just be somewhere for fucking ever.
The dog Chubasan, the man Nguyễn Quý Đức, and the house itself.
Yeah. So yes, so I basically use the same principles as I've always used in photography. I just apply them. The difference, photography is an individual practice. Filmmaking is teamwork. You have to work with a producer who's going to find you the money. You have to work with a writer. You have to work with the cameraman. It's a bigger team, and so it teaches you teamwork. And if you get it right, if you are able to work in a team, it's amazing. I recommend it.
But you maybe later on will tell us how to work in a team is not that easy, right? Like because you all have different opinions and different background. But maybe later when you describe to me and also to the audience about different technologies and different way of understanding and how to interpret your own language and make other people to understand your own idea and your own language, that's also a challenge.
Yes, but this is what I'm saying. If you are able to to actually listen to the others. As teamwork, it becomes a better thing. It is not necessarily the execution of your idea, your own idea. There's collaboration, which makes it better, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, sometimes. The next one I'm going to show you is, then I, of course, had to make a living, so I did some corporate. The next one I'm going to show you is for a hotel in Fukuoka, one of the resorts in Fukuoka, and we used a Vietnamese movie star. And for this one, I also pitched and tried to tell a story. Audiences, I think, don't really, they do care, but they don't care as much about how many swimming pools or how big the all-you-can-eat buffet is. The way to sell a product is not necessarily to just describe it. It's, I think you have to make people feel what this product can bring. So the next one is called Spielberg Calling.
Mr. Spielberg is on the line for you.
Oh. Tell him I will call him back.
Mr. Spielberg, she will call you back.
Hi, Steven.
Hi.
Long time.
Yeah, so teamwork. You can see the evolution from, I actually take a photo and have something moving in it to this, where we use drone and we use moving cameras. So by then I think I kind of started understanding movement a little better. And then right. So I read a short story by Argentinian writer Borges about an incredible pirate. She is a Chinese woman who started from nothing and became the most successful pirate in history. So I thought that story was very good, and I actually wanted to tell it. I pitched it around for several years without much success.
5 years, right?
5 years.
5 years, yeah.
And so in China, they told me, this is a great story, we would love to tell it, but you can understand that the story of a Chinese woman, of a prostitute, starting from nothing, becoming one of the most successful pirates in history, defying the authority of the emperor, and getting away with it. We cannot tell this story. you have to wait, maybe in a different generation, but right now we cannot. So I pitched it many places, and then I met a producer, a Taiwanese woman, and she pitched it to the Taiwanese authorities, and they went, story of a Chinese woman, start from nothing, resist the emperor, okay, yes, we'll give you the money, but you have to do it in VR. And so I went, okay, I don't know anything about VR. So I went to see a whole bunch of VR films, and then we built a team, and I made a couple of them. Still using the same tricks, optical tricks, breaking the fourth wall, outside. The difference is in VR, you don't really have a frame. So outside the frame can kind of count, but because you are in an immersive environment, there is no frame. So what you have to do is the opposite. You have to get the viewer to pay attention to something specific, as opposed to, because you can look anywhere. So it's the same trick, but it's the opposite.
So the frame here, are you using the photographer's naming the frame as a picture frame? Yeah, and like from outside the frame to no frame means that you can choose to look anywhere. Like for example, if we are in this room and you can look 360 anywhere you like. It's not like you're looking on that screen or on a photographs anymore. Is that right?
Yeah,
yeah.
You're immersed in the scene.
Yeah.
So that's a different challenge. Luckily for me, VR is kind of new, and we are all trying to figure this out. So, right. So these are the posters for episode 1, episode 2. We used next one. This is the book, Borges' first book of short stories. One of the, I think the third or the fourth story in that book is about Cheng Yisao. And the second, so the first one is how the first episode of Man and Pirate is how she became a pirate, kidnapped by this pirate. Agreed to marry him because he was in love with her. When he died, she takes over. So the second one is how she managed to maintain power. She was at the head of a fleet of 70,000 pirates. Just so you understand the scale of this, Blackbeard, who's the most famous pirate in the West, had 2 ships. His career lasted 3 years. He had maybe 100 people under him. She had 70,000 ships, thousands of 70,000 pirates, thousands of ships, and she was undefeated. So the second one is actually the story, the inspiration. She captured an Englishman and held him for her fleet, captured this Englishman, held him for ransom for 3 or 4 months, and when he was released, he wrote a memoir about this. So we used that to describe how this very strong woman was able to hold power over this enormous fleet of pirates. Right? This I told you already.
And she managed to retire in peace.
And so she actually, at some point, the Qing emperor could not defeat her, so he offered her amnesty. She went and negotiated the amnesty, was allowed to keep everything she stole. Most of her fleet was integrated into the official army, and she retired, died of old age.
Yeah.
So again,
That's
Blackbeard,
story.
amateur,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
In popular culture, she is in. She's actually in Pirates of the Caribbean. This is a picture from one of the episodes of Pirates of the Caribbean. They feature her as the keeper of the code. They should have made the whole movie about her, but whatever. Hollywood. She's a Chinese woman. No one cares. She is featured. You can look her up. There's a Wikipedia page on her. There's a whole bunch of mangas on her, and I made a couple of VR films about her.
I have a side note on this. The reason why you're strongly interested in this story. Anything related to the woman who came and support you today, your mom and your...
I think so. Look at her. She's like a pirate. she even has a T-shirt with Greek inscriptions on it. Yes.
Definitely inspired by a strong, fierce woman. Yeah.
Strong, fierce woman, as my mother is also her. Yes.
Yeah.
You're right. So yes, so this is, I discussed this already. This is a still image from episode 1, where we shot using 2 different techniques. We shot with 180 degrees camera in a studio. With actors, so we built the deck of a pirate ship. We had, I don't know, about 25 or 30 actors. And so we shot scenes like that. And we mixed it with a technique that is, I think Google develops this, it's called tilt brush. You paint inside a VR headset. So you wear the headset and you can paint. Again, not on a frame. You can just paint around you. You paint in space. And so that's how we made this. We worked with university students in Tainan, in Taiwan. And so we would come and visit them. There's a whole bunch of them wearing VR headsets. So that's episode 1. Right, so tilt brush, and then this is 3D 180 footage. Actors. Okay. And then so for episode 2, the thing with VR is you don't really have a big audience because there's no real distribution yet. You cannot go to a movie theater and watch VR. You can watch VR at home, but there's only one shop basically where you can buy these experiences, and it's not very popular yet. VR is popular for gaming. There's some industries that use it, but to watch movie or stories, it's not there yet. So after we did the first VR experience, we thought, we can do another one. It doesn't follow exactly, and we can use whatever technique we want, which of course allows us to experiment. So for the second one, we used 3 different techniques. We used volumetric capture, 3D models, and 2D paintings. Volumetric capture is inside a studio, you capture the performance of the actors from all possible angles. So they are in the middle of the studio and there's a whole bunch of cameras around them that captures the scene, the performance, which allows you then to use that footage, and you can then look at it from any angle you want. Meaning, I'm showing you this inside a headset. You can come closer, you can walk around them, you can look at it from above, you can lie down on the floor behind the actor or actress and look at it from there. So it's like so there's no imposed angle. You, the viewer, can choose and decide how close, how far. It's like if you were in a theater during a play and you were on stage, able to walk around as the actors are performing.
And you can come close and you can step away.
Yeah.
Or you can watch them from their head.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I wonder what's the difference between 3D and volumetric? Are they the same or different?
No, so 3D is you have the volume. You have volumetric also has the volume.
Yeah.
But you can like an object.
Yeah.
So you decide close, far.
Yeah.
And in VR, you can even have sound tracking. So if you come close, the voice is louder. If you go the other way, the voice is not so loud because they're speaking the different direction. So like it's almost like this. It's not perfected yet. So it doesn't always work. Actually, usually it doesn't really work. But
you're making it work.
You make it work. You make it work. Yeah. So I'll show you. Can we have the next slide?
Yes.
So this is the studio. There's lights, and these are the cameras. And there's all around. Then you take this footage and put it inside a set, and you add shadows and lighting and furniture and whatever else later. And the files are huge. It takes a week to download, 45 seconds of film. So not experimental, for sure. Sorry, so we mixed the volumetric capture with 3D models, which is more classic. And then we also mixed it with next one, with 2D drawings. The trick here is to actually get these 3 different forms of media to mix and work together to help you tell the story. Oh, here's a trailer.
This is the true story of my encounter with Madame Zhang Yisao and her red flag pirates. 70,000 of society's most truculent humans are terrorizing the coast in her name. Before today, my number one goal was survival. But fearful as I am, I cannot turn away. This time, I choose to fight.
So it's better in VR. In flat, it looks a bit, well, flat. So.
Yes.
And so this is a spectator at one of the festivals. So these are the festivals that we've been invited to. The one on top there, we actually won a prize. So it's difficult, experimental, kind of far away from photography, even though I think it's kind of still the same principles, but it's rewarding.
Yes. Thank you. Can you share some more? What's next after this Madame Pirates 2?
So I'm trying to make a new VR experience. Actually, it's a mix between AR and VR, augmented reality and VR, but this time multi-user. These two films that I made is one person wears a headset, that's it. This one would be with, you can have 5 or 6 people at the same time in the same room, experience a story, and then still trying to experiment with these technologies that are, they're evolving very fast. So that's what I'm trying to work on.
Yes. And is there Madame Pirate 3?
There's a Madame Pirate 3, but I think I will take a break for maybe 1 year, maybe 2, and then do Madame Pirate 3.
Why do you need a break?
I wanted to try something else, and then maybe with what I learned from that, apply it to Madame Pirate 3. Yeah. Madame Pirate 3, the idea is similar, multi-user, but I want to test some stuff first.
Yeah, I see. Yes. So basically, that is the presentation. Now we're very much welcome the questions. If there anything you still don't understand, you want to come back to those images and you want to explain more explanation. Like personally myself, I also want to do that too, because to me this technology is very exciting, very cool. But I really want to know how we can do that. And from myself, I'm very curious about how the brain works, because when we work with 2D, one picture in the frame, we work with two-dimensional, one flat picture in front of you. But when you work with 3D, you have to, or 360, you have to change the way you see things. You cannot frame them into one frame anymore, or like multiple frames and actions and distance and sound. So it's a very different way of thinking and process of working. So if anyone have question or similar question like me, please raise your hand, and I will continue my own question. Mời bạn. Yes, you.
Hello, I'm Morgan. I think that's very fascinating that the transition that you did from the photography to now VR film. I have a question about, because you mentioned you always love doing storytelling, and I would like to learn how you observe the changing of the story, because before, if you just watch a 2D video or a photography, you can just look at it and observe it in like story, like you imagine it, right? So that would be the story. But for VR film, basically you immerse in that too, like. So what the difference between storytelling from the 2D film, from the photography to the VR film? Because I think that's very different experience, right? So for the VR, you experience, like you say, you can just look at different angles in the movie, and also basically you're part of it too, right? So what is the difference, and do you think with this kind of experience or new experience for storytelling, how does that change people think about story?
Thank you.
I don't think the storytelling changes. I think what changes is technique. I'm still, whether I put you inside the scene or I show you an image draws you inside the scene too, right? So the trick is to have a good story. In photography, you can, the ones that I showed you, I kind of cheat because I don't actually tell you the story. I set it up for you to tell yourself the story. In VR or in filmmaking, you kind of have to do a little more than that. I mean, you can still do that, but you have to, because I'm immersing you in the scene. And then I am convincing you to pay attention to this, that, or this. And if the convincing doesn't work, then you'll miss out.
You can. Is there any in a space like you're free to move around? Is there any way, any tricks that you can draw the attention of the people who go through that experience? For example, look at the front, not the back, or like changing. How do you suggest them to pay attention to what you want?
So. Sound and
yes.
light.
Sound and light. Okay.
Because you see, you're sitting there, but if you hear a really loud explosion behind you, you will turn around.
Yeah, that's right.
Right? Or if you're sitting there and it becomes really dark, but you see light over there, you will look there.
Yes.
So sound and light. Yeah, I mean, then you have other tricks that are the little arrow pointing, but sound and light is more subtle.
Any arrow in your film?
No.
Các bạn muốn đặt câu hỏi, any next questions? No, mời em. Yes, please.
About lighting, may I ask a questions about when you transition from the 2D photographs to the 3D and virtual reality, what are the challenges that you face when you are controlling the lightings? Because the two different types of techniques are different. So like how did you control the lightings to make the attentions of the viewers more captivating?
So in volumetric capture or in 180 degrees filming, lighting is difficult when you record it. If you have a 360 camera or 180 camera, you have really not much spots where you can put lights, and so it is different. And basically, the way you do it, you either light it really from the top or from the sides, but from a distance. In VR, most lighting is done after the shooting, after the models have been drawn, or after the footage, video footage, has been captured.
That's
which is a difference between.
That's very good. There's another part of the conversation today is, as the title of the conversation is transforming into resilience. We also talk about surviving in this new era of technology and how you can adapt yourself and how to prepare yourself to change and ready to change and brave enough to change. So I'd like to ask you, how do you prepare yourself? Like where you get that curiosity and also the stamina to pitch for 5 years and no yes, and then you keep going and continue. What make you believe and keep going but not giving up?
You don't always believe, so you keep going, but there's dark moments where you don't believe. So for the Man and Pirate project, I pitched it for 5 years because I thought it was a really interesting and important story, and not many people have told that story. And every time I was telling someone this story, often they wouldn't believe me, or they would be surprised, or they'd never heard of it. So that actually kept me going. The fact that I can tell you this and you've never heard of it, it's like, maybe I'm onto something. Not being able to find a producer is not uncommon. You have to keep going. While you keep going, maybe write something else. Right?
Yes.
One of them might work.
So to you, the act of telling the story and telling people how cool the story is very important, more important than anything else. Even like people say no, but to you, the act of the story being told is already very important, and you keep going because you want to tell the story to more and more people. That's the key.
I would have done it in a comic strip. I would have done it in any format. I wasn't trying to do it using VR. That came as a chance, right?
Yeah.
I would have done it as a documentary. I pitched it as many things because I really wanted to tell this story. How do you prepare for new technologies? I don't know. I find it interesting and cool, and a lot of the people in this industry of VR are technicians. They are interested in the technology for itself. I'm less interested in the technology than the tool that allows me then to do something with it.
But tools and technology, are they similar?
Yeah, it's similar, but I just want to use it to do this other thing, not just to demonstrate what it can do.
Yeah, I see.
Right.
Hi, Anh. I think we've talked about your film so much now, but seeing the film in the form of a presentation and hearing you talking more about it makes me even more interested in the story. I actually didn't know about its connection to Pirates of the Caribbean. And you mentioned just now that technology, VR in this case, is not the ultimate goal of the movie, of the project. The story is the goal. So I was wondering, now that you have done it in VR, because somebody said you have to do it in VR, otherwise they won't find it. Are you thinking of translating it, converting it to a more accessible format, so then people can be more people can be connected to the story? I know we talked about it before, and you...
Did you say more sensible format?
Accessible.
Accessible.
Yeah. Yeah, because not everybody can have a VR, right? And we talked about how difficult it is to find a venue for you to show the film as well. But if I know technically it's possible to translate, to convert VR to 3D films, I just don't know if it's... I mean, we see it on the screen. You said it's flat. Is it possible to convert it to something else so more people can see it?
I would not convert this.
Right.
I would retell, because I have more of this. I'm telling these are two 15 minutes experiences. I have enough material to retell the story from different angles, using different techniques. So I wouldn't just convert it to flat to get a bigger audience. I actually don't care about the audience, to be honest.
I can see that.
Yeah.
Knowing you is
more questions? Em còn muốn nói gì không? You guys need more?
So I did a really quick research of volumetric capture, and I have this questions that how would it be different from motion capture? So I know that it is much more advanced, but like, in what way volumetric captures would be more beneficial?
So it's different. It's not more beneficial. It's just different. And motion capture, you put sensors all over someone's body, and then the computer recreates the movement. You can tell. It is good. It is not perfect. The movements are still, you can tell when it's motion capture. This is actually just filmed. So it's a real movement from the actors. Motion capture is difficult too. Volumetric is not perfect. You cannot wear certain colors. You cannot wear the layering of the outfits have to be, because otherwise the cameras cannot catch it. And then you end up with holes. So volumetric is a thing that you should play with, but it's not the perfect solution to yeah.
I also see that in, because like I know what motion capture being used like really much in like games and also in videos and films and stuff too, but yeah, I didn't reconsider the fact that it was recreated by computer, but then I have this one small question, is that does volumetric capturing like capture the facial expressions better? Like in mocap we don't have that. In like I know many games like God of War or like many other games, they gotta use a rig just for capturing the emotions of the face of the characters. So do volumetrics like solve this problem? Like the facial expression?
Yeah, because it actually just captures your face.
Oh.
So whatever expression, right? Motion capture, you can actually, if you want, you can change the expression. In volumetric, you filmed it.
So it's more authentic, like more
So
real.
it's more authentic, but what I mean is, in motion capture, you can say, oh, I want him to look sad. No, I want him to look happy. You can change it. Right, because you've captured all the different. In volumetric, if you said during the shooting, I want him sad, he's sad.
I understand. Thank you.
I see some faces are really like thinking and having some questions still, but like maybe you're trying to find the words or find way how to ask the question. Is that are you having something in your head? How about you?
I see that you use a lot of different techniques in order to tell the story. So is there any reason behind or any like meaning of it for different technique that you use? Maybe someone is like more lively or something is more like still and you can see more emotion, something like that. Because it's like because as a person who really do work on visual, I know that you need to like explore a lot of different technique, but when you choose one, there definitely some like meaning for it. Yeah.
So in the first episode, the way we tell the story is it's a little girl whose grandmother tells her a bedtime story. So this little girl really likes to draw. The whole film is using two different, the drawings and the filming. The drawings is the little girl interpreting what the grandmother is telling her, and the filming is what the grandmother remembers. So you have grandmother telling this bedtime story. She remembers it, you see it in film. The little girl illustrates it, you see it in drawings. That's the meaning. For the second one, it's a little more difficult. We were imposed one of the formats, but it's basically this young Chinese interpreter meeting with Madame Pirate, and her conversations or exchange with Madame Pirate are filmed in volumetric, and everything that happens outside the cabin, where you actually can follow this interpreter, is drawn. The 2D drawings are basically illustrations of background. So yes, there's meaning behind. We don't just use different techniques because we can. I would love that, but you have to kind of make sense. That's a good question.
Yeah, I really like the questions. Really good question. Yeah. More good question.
Hello, Morgan. I have two questions I want to ask you. The first one is, what is the biggest lesson after you making Madame Pirate? And the second question is, there is anything new that you want in your future project?
First question is, what is the biggest lesson? And the second one?
The second one is, there is any new thing that you want to do in your future project?
All right, second one first. So I would like to try multi-user and mixing VR, so virtual reality, with AR, which in AR is you can actually see the room, and you add virtual elements to the room. Biggest lesson. It's new technology. It's very exciting. It's also very difficult. If you don't really need to tell a story, don't try it.
Why?
It's a little painful to do.
Yeah. Maybe to give a concrete example how I'm really curious about how you work and you share ideas and then you explain what you see in your head with the technician, for example. One example.
Storyboarding. In storyboarding, you basically go frame by frame and explain, what this film looks like. But if you're in VR, you're in 360. So you basically have to storyboard sometimes, right? With focus on here or focus on there, right? And in VR, if you only use animation, you can kind of do close-ups, but not. The problem with VR is, if you're in an environment, close-ups are difficult because why would you suddenly have something, close to your face? This is not always easy to explain. The image that you. Sometimes very difficult. The most difficult part actually is not creating the idea, the script, even the storyboard. The most difficult part is to take all this stuff and integrate it into a game engine, into a VR headset. And so the two game engines is Unity and Unreal. I haven't tried Unreal, but I hate Unity.
I see. Yeah. The conversation with Unity engineers goes like this. You ask for 25 things, and it's no to everything. You ask for 50 things, and then maybe one. Oh yes, this we can do. So it's a constant process of, wow. I see.
It's very painful. But then, when you, at the end, you rejoice that you've managed to actually make something.
Yes. I think also Morgan will be very ready to answer your question about, for example, developing your career. If you have any question about your future, any difficulties that you're facing right now, or you're wondering if now you're a student, a design student, and what's next for you, what you need to prepare for the future. I think this is a good time and opportunity to do that. So I'm suggesting that if you want to ask Morgan, oh yes, xin mời, mời, please.
So hi, I have some wondering about the previous of the videos that you show us, such as the video with the like there's people who moving but there's still image. How can you do that? What is the technique to do that?
It's actually very simple. It's two different layers. So it's a photograph, and from the same angle you film the scene, and then you layer them. So it's basically the photograph has holes, and in that hole is a video. Same angle. This, right?
I think that's what you want to ask about is how did you make this? Yeah. What's the technique?
It's a mask.
You get it? Did you? Yeah. Okay. Great. More question?
So I was wondering that with the video that you shows that you filmed for the Intercontinental Resort in Phuket, how can they how can know the how can they know you? Then they contact booking you. Yeah.
How to get work? Yes, yes. How to get work? How to get job? And how yeah, like how the Intercontinental have your contact and paid you to do the video.
I used to have an agent in Hanoi. I had an agent. Intercontinental needs something. They call this agency and they then call me. But they're gone. I cannot recommend them to you. They're finished.
Then how? What happened when they're gone? You don't have any more agents. What can you do?
I don't know. It's networking. It's it's so yeah.
Networking. Keep going.
Keep going. Keep going.
Making cool things.
And you're right. When you're not networking, make cool things.
And I don't know if this is the last question, but of course there's some moments that that things are not going as you wanted. You can feel down, for example, and how to overcome those moments.
Well, I can't tell you because my mother is there, but.
This is very important to me, and I guess this good experience for other people.
We all have, ups and downs. Keep going.
Even when you're very, very down, you still you remind yourself that keep going.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know how to do anything else. So.
I don't know how to do anything else.
One of the things I've been talking about is actually going to work at the post office. Steady job, steady hours, monthly salary, yearly vacations, retirement, healthcare. Don't distribute the post. Work at the post office, sell stamps, But they wouldn't. I don't think it would work.
Yes, my chị.
Why don't you? Can you explain maybe some of the ways that you stay motivated, such as like what kind of directors do you like? How do you sort of look for that artistic inspiration more than anything besides me?
That's a different question, though. It's inspiration. It's not how do you stay motivated.
To do the cool things, right? Yeah. While you don't network, you do cool things. So maybe this is the resource for your cool things, like to find the inspiration. Yeah.
Okay, so I watch a lot of movies and photographs and read a lot of books and I don't necessarily do a lot of networking. I should.
You say networking, you told these young people networking, and you say you don't really do networking?
Not a lot, not enough.
Very honest, yeah.
But yeah, so examples of movies?
Some names, yeah. Some movies that you like, some, yeah.
What did I watch lately?
David Bowie.
So here's an example. I don't really follow David Bowie, but I did find that because I'll watch really anything. I don't know how to define inspiration. It can come from reading a food recipe or watching a YouTube video. You can also, then watch. Martin Scorsese has a list of 39 films that he recommends to this student that he met in a bar, I think. And he said, if you want to make movies, watch these films. 39 films, none of them American. And so this list is actually on the internet. You can find it. Some of them are difficult to find, but so I saw that, I don't know, on Facebook maybe. And so then I went and looked at all the ones I hadn't seen. Right? Yes. Some of them are very inspiring, some of them less. But, yeah. Keep going.
Keep going, yeah. Yeah, I think I'm quite happy, I'm quite happy with what we talk about and the information that I got, also the understanding of the technology, but most interesting is to understand who is Morgan Ommer as a person, as a photographer, and as a VR filmmaker. To me, at the core is a very curious person and a very open-minded, willing to learn new things, and a very passionate storyteller. To me, those are the key words of the conversation today. And at the last session of the conversation, some key words that I had is networking, whatever, but I believe that he did some good networking and managed to keep going despite all the no for 5 years. It doesn't bring him down. You keep him going because of that passion about storytelling. So those are the key takeaway for me. And thank you so much for being here as part of the Vietnam Festival of Creativity and Design. And thank you so much, the audience, for your great questions, very good questions, very wonderful questions. And for back for being here, and chị Vân for being here, and for all you as a young audience. And thank you. Yes, thank you. Yes, now the time if you want to have a private conversation, ask more questions to Morgan, but no more microphone, no more camera. Thank you.